Suspicious. Sturgeon buries head in the sand while being questioned about SNP unofficial spending. Nicola Sturgeon is under pressure to explain why the vast majority of recent SNP government spending on private sector consultants has gone to just one firm. Figures released in light of a Freedom of Information request show that Holyrood spent £25 million on large consultants between the 2017 and 2021 fiscal years. Just shy of two-thirds of this money, £16 million, was handed to Deloitte. Scottish Government spending on costly consultants has been on the up in recent years, costing the taxpayer millions of pounds. Officials from across the political spectrum have insisted that the high spending raises serious questions. Scottish Labour's finance spokesperson, Daniel Johnson, said an eye-watering amount of money was being spent on consultancy firms. He said, "Serious questions need to be asked about whether this is an appropriate use of public money. We need to make sure that public money is being spent in the most prudent and efficient way possible, with only those with clear expertise engaged." Liz Smith, Scottish Conservative Shadow Cabinet Secretary for Finance and Economy, quoted in The Telegraph, added that the particularly high spending on Deloitte is bound to raise suspicions. She said, "The fact that one firm has received such a high proportion of SNP government contracts is bound to raise a few eyebrows. This is typical of an SNP government that goes out of its way to obscure its financial dealings. With millions of taxpayer money at stake, the SNP government must come clean about its procurement processes, and reveal exactly why the majority of contracts are being handed to just a single firm." Deloitte is now most well known for its involvement with Test and Trace. Outrage was sparked when it was revealed that Test and Trace, which continually missed its targets, handed Deloitte consultants £1 million per day. UK Shadow Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth, quoted in The Guardian, said last month, "There is no justification for continuing with these highly paid expensive consultants. Ministers should ensure every penny piece of taxpayers' money is spent wisely on patient care, not blown on expensive management consultants." John O'Connell, Chief Executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, noted that even if the SNP's potential prioritisation of Deloitte was sound, the spending on consultants more generally must be brought under control. He said, "Bringing in outside expertise is welcome, but the huge fees mean ministers mustn't become dependent on these very expensive experts. Scottish ministers need to get these big bills under control." Holyrood also spent millions over the past 5 years for services from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Grant Thornton. A spokesperson insisted that contracts were given on the basis of price and quality, nothing more. In another news, figures released in the light of an access to information request show that Holyrood spent £25 million on major consultants between fiscal years 2017 and 2021. Just under two-thirds of that money, £16 million, of pounds sterling, was handed over to Deloitte. Scottish Government spending on expensive consultants has increased in recent years, costing taxpayers millions of pounds. Officials from all political backgrounds have insisted that the high spending raises serious questions. Scottish Labour finance spokesman Daniel Johnson said tempting money was being spent on consultancy firms. He said, "Serious questions need to be asked as to whether this is an appropriate use of public money. We need to make sure that public money is spent in the most prudent and efficient way possible, only engaging those with clear expertise." Liz Smith, Scottish Conservatives' Shadow Cabinet Secretary for Finance and Economics, quoted in The Telegraph, added that Deloitte's particularly high spending is sure to arouse suspicion. She said, "The fact that one company has received such a high proportion of SNP government contracts is sure to raise some eyebrows. This is typical of an SNP government that goes out of its way to hide its financial transactions." Shadow UK Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth, has quoted in The Guardian, said last month, "There is no justification for continuing with these expensive and highly paid consultants. Ministers should ensure that every penny of taxpayer dollars is spent wisely on patient care, not on expensive management consultants." John O'Connell, Chief Executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, noted that while the SNP's potential prioritisation of Deloitte was strong, Spending on consultants more generally needs to be brought under control. He said, bringing in outside expertise is welcome, but the huge fees mean ministers don't have to become dependent on these very expensive experts. Scottish ministers need to get these big bills under control. Holyrood has also spent millions over the past 5 years on the services of PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Grant Thornton. A spokesperson insisted that the contracts were made on the basis of price and quality, nothing more on the basis of price and